teams that have already punched their tickets into the semifinal. These two teams now just playing for first and for second. Doesn't matter too much when all is said and done, just a matter of who the matchup is in the next round. Either the United States, Canada, or Costa Rica, the three options for both Mexico and Panama. Both comfortably through their first 2 days of matches with 6 points, eliminating the host Guatemala and Cuba. For Panama, it was 6-2 over Cuba, 4-3 over Guatemala. For Mexico, it was 7-2 over Guatemala and 4-1 over Cuba. Now, what happens when these two teams end up against each other is the question here today. This very well could be a final when all is said and done come Sunday. Question is who they meet in the semis to get there, and will it be Mexico first or Panama first? That's what they're playing for today. Whoever wins this would be in first. If it's a draw, Mexico would end up in first place. Goal differential, that's 3 goals superior to that of Panama. Semifinals rather, will come on Saturday after an off day in the tournament tomorrow. And the semifinals are going to have the feel of a final because the 2 winners of the semifinals qualify for the World Cup in the Philippines later this year. So these teams will gladly lock horns today, test themselves against each other, against 2 of the best teams the tournament has to offer. And it's a rest day tomorrow before all eyes on the semifinals on Saturday. Mexico, comfortable in their first 2 matchups, really good in the possession. Expect them to try and assert themselves in possession again here today. Panama opened things comfortably against Cuba. Yesterday, things got a little out of control in the late stages of their 4-3 win over Guatemala. It was 2-2 with 6.5 minutes remaining, and Panama scored, gave up a goal, scored an empty netter, gave up a goal, and it was just back and forth. A chaotic final 6 minutes, but they prevailed 4-3, put them in this position. Teams are set to take the field. We'll have anthems, lineups, and kick momentarily.
Damas y caballeros, les pedimos ponerse de pie para escuchar el himno nacional de Panamá.
ready to get things going here inside of Domo Polideportivo in Guatemala as Mexico and Panama clash for group supremacy. Both know they're through into the semifinal, but who will be first? Who will be second? Who will be riding the momentum of maybe a perfect stay in group play? And who will be going in having to pick up the pieces after a loss? We'll find out together over the next 40 minutes. Starting group for Panama, Miriam Sanger in goal. Marguerite Perez, Maritza Escartin, Estefania Salas, and Erica Hernandez. The starting group for Panama. Ariadna Abadia, coming off the bench, has 3 goals in this tournament. 2 from kicks from the second penalty mark, and 1 that was on a rebound on a save on a kick from the second penalty mark. So if they get those set pieces, look for her to be active and involved. Mexico have been, I think, the class of this tournament. The only knock, perhaps, against Mexico, if you were to evaluate all of the teams in this tournament in the group stage from 1 through 8, you're probably ranking Guatemala 6 and Cuba 7 with Honduras 8. So Mexico has only faced 2 of the lesser teams in this tournament, but they were dominant in both of those games as the officials are led by Kimberly Valverde of Costa Rica, Geraldine Araya, Ramon Mejia, and Andy Leon round out the group. If you don't take into account the opponent, Mexico, tremendous so far in this tournament in terms of their possession, their combination play, and their overall danger that they've been able to create. Haven't really been tested on the back end, but then you do have to take into account who they have played. So it's interesting how they'll fare today against Panama. And a look at the starting group. Natalia Cano with Karen Hernandez, Nelly Ramos, Janice Benitez, and Erika Soto, or head coach Aldo De Pozo. They've had really spread and balanced scoring, this Mexican side. In the games they've played so far, there was only 1 repeat score in the Guatemala game, 4 unique goal scorers against Cuba. It's really been spread around. Itzel Cruz has a couple of goals. Aguilar leads the way with 3 goals for the team. They've been able to get production from everywhere, Mexico. Mexico in their gray with the neon trim. They'll be attacking from right to left. Panama in their red from left to right. A win for either side wins that side the group. A draw, and it's Mexico who finished the group in first. Both already know they're in the semifinal on Saturday. One last test of their mettle against each other before then, and away we go. Benitez, cross court. Mexico already setting up in the possession here off the opening kickoff. Given away through the middle. Panama playing along for Salas and back to Perez. Nice turn down the wing. Slotted inside for Hernandez. One thing that certainly sticks out for Panama and Mexico here, this is a game that feels like it could go by in the blink of an eye. Remember, the clock stops whenever the ball is out of play in this wonderful sport, and these 2 teams have shown they keep the ball in play. Keep it on the deck. A lot of combination play waiting for that moment. In the games these 2 teams have played so far, the ball isn't out of play much. Clock just winding and winding and winding. Opportunities might be few and far between. They're both very selective of when they go to goal versus when they continue to just pass it around in their shape. You see that already here. A minute and a half in. Both sides have done a good job of working the ball around. Neither have yet attempted an effort at goal. A couple of half looks where they could have, but opted instead to pass it around. Salas gets in the way. On the right side, Mexico out of play. Goalkeeper coming out, Cano to join the possession. That's something we've seen a lot of in this tournament from Mexico. Gives them a numerical advantage. From the sideline, back to Cano. Look at this, they flood 4 numbers forward here, Mexico. And they let Cano essentially run the point. Free kick coming for Panama. From the free kick, blocked by Nelly Ramos in the wall. And now a free kick for Mexico. Standing over it, Itzel Cruz for Mexico. Cruz goes for a goal. Good effort over the bar. Head coach Aldo De Pozo looking on for Mexico. Has to be happy with what he's seen so far in this group stage. But their toughest test yet now coming against Panama. Taken away. Edgar Hernandez has options. Chooses to go to her left for Escartin, going for goal wide. Played through. Opportunity here for Mexico. Good defensive play, and then on the rebound, it's pulled wide of the post. Net was empty for Hernandez after a favorable bounce. On the right side for Mexico. The back post, there was an open. Evelyn Gonzalez didn't make it all the way through. Cano going for goal off the crossbar. Panama not having the same success in the possession that Mexico has so far. Lost it. On the way up the field, Castañeda. Panama turning, shooting wide. Flicked on. Hernandez going for goal, gathered by Cano. Shot taken, saved by Sanher. Nadia Ducrot had been the starter previously for Panama, starting today on the bench. Salas to put it back into play. Yesterday, the goal scoring came through Sáenz, Rangel, and Abadia for Panama. All starting on the bench today, but in this sport, of course, players cycling in rather quickly and throughout. But perhaps a concerted effort from the Panamanian side to rest some of their key figures ahead of tomorrow's day off, so they're fully fit for Saturday. Actually, earlier today, saw with already the score at 6-0, which is 15 seconds remaining, Cascante, a key piece of Costa Rica's group, went down with what seemed to be a significant injury. Left the court, helped by the trainers in tears. That's the last thing you want for either of these sides today, as much as you want to assert your might atop this group. You don't want it to come at the expense of any key players health-wise for the semifinal on Saturday. Escano makes a comfortable save. Ruby Gomez just checked back in for Mexico. She's factored into the scoring so far in the tournament. Already 7 minutes gone. A late whistle, free kick for Mexico. On the free kick, Gomez lays it off, deflected in front and saved. Still alive for Gonzalez. Gomez nods it away. Gloria Saenz out there now. Scored yesterday. Driven ball through from Perez. Goes out. Mexico's possession. Played edge of the area. Rolled back. A lot of pressure there. Out for a Mexico kick in. Mariori Perez unable to deal with it successfully for Panama. Right from distance, skied. Hi, Gonzalez. Drop back for Gomez. Saenz gave it away. Panama struggling to get things going in their possession here today. Mexico is starting themselves as the more possessive of the groups. Again, this is just the last tune-up for both of these two before the semifinals. Both already clinched. They may yet meet again, but it would come in the final on Sunday. At that point, they would already both be qualified for the World Cup. As important as winning this tournament is for all these countries involved, first and foremost right now, their focus is just simply making the final and making it to a historic first ever Women's Futsal World Cup later this year in the Philippines. Flipped up over the top on the volley, blocked out for a corner. Looking back post, it was on for Mexico, intercepted by Panama. Free kick for Mexico. From the free kick. Try deflected, out of play. Driven ball in front, save made, rebound, put in. It had been building for Mexico. Finally, off a rebound, Itzel Cruz finds another. He has now scored in every game of this tournament so far for Mexico. And trying to get it back here for Panama. Nice move, weaving through. Mexico carrying it ahead, up 1-0. In position to win this group with a perfect 9 points. Worked into Cano. This is going to be something for the opposition to figure out in the semifinal and perhaps beyond. How do you solve the numerical advantage created by Mexico by getting Cano up the field, playing in that point position? Sure, it leaves a risk of an open end at the other end, but it's so difficult to finish the full length of the court. Just gives Mexico a numbers advantage. Bodies in front, generating some of these tap-ins and dangerous moments. Played through, wanted it back, rolled back now. Rosa Aguiar is calling for that give and go. Gets it now on the giveaway. Panama wanted a foul call that wasn't given, and now Aguiar goes down. This time she does draw the free kick. Aguiar. Aguiar. Played through, Science lurking. Mexico can break out. Almost fell for Arianes Arguelles. Just bounced too far for her and in the hands of Cano. Work back to Hernandez. Slowing the pace to a crawl, Mexico. Just keeping possession, keeping control. Cross-court pass at Hernandez. Tries to cut it back, runs into Montenegro. Try from the quick kick in for Panama. Saved by Cano. Cutting in, Mexico Aguiar, rebound, put wide. Brought the other way by Mexico. Loose here, Aguiar going for goal. Off target, under 4 to play in this first half. Been tame between these two sides, and it was possibly the expectation with both knowing they're through to the semifinal. And again, it's not like, as this one's rolled out the other way, if this were the last game of the day and these two teams both knew who the possible opponents were in the semifinal, then you could argue maybe it is beneficial to come in first or come in second to have an easier matchup on paper. But the Group B right now is all tangled up, and these two teams playing now instead of later, they don't know who they're going to face. They don't know if it's an easier quote-unquote path through by being the group winners or being second place in the group. So maybe it does behoove both of them to really just sort of coast here and take this match for what it is. Day off tomorrow, both in the semifinals on Saturday. Nice give and go. Gomez denied. Deflected away at midfield, under 3 to play. Little tug there of the jersey. Itzel Cruz kept her feet, was looking for a free kick. Neither side get up against it with 5 fouls, with 2.5 to go in this half before it resets. Back out to halfway. Cano was waiting. Rifled back in. Gomez pokes it along. Saved. Rebound there for Gomez. Cleared. Right from distance here. Big save made by Sunher. From the corner. Out of play. Long toss out ahead. Worked wide for Salas. Given away by Panama. Quick give and go for Mexico on the turn. It's Dorantes. And out for a Mexico kick-in. Gomez. Cano. Played through, now wide. Nice give and go, save made by Sunher. Worked back for Nelly Ramos. Minute to go in this first half. 1-0 Mexico. Looking long, brought down. On the turn, shot saved. To the end line, worked all the way across, out of play. .15 seconds to go. Out wide. Deflected. Into the path of Rangel. Going for goal from a distance. That's the risk you run if you're Cano getting that far up the field. Helping the numerical advantage in the possession for Mexico, but you leave yourself open there if somebody does have the pinpoint accuracy and precision on a shot from distance. One last chance maybe for Panama now. Taken back by Mexico. Horn sounds. And Mexico leads 1-0 in this battle of the two teams from Group A that are already through into the semifinal. Question is who's in first, who's in second. Right now, it's Mexico leading the group. Just about set to begin the second half here between Panama and Mexico. Final match of group play between these two sides in Group A. Later tonight, it'll be Guatemala and Cuba to fully round out Group A. Can the home side get on the board with a victory? Can Cuba salvage something from their time here in Guatemala? But these two teams, Mexico and Panama, both already through after going a perfect 2-0 through their first two matches. We know they're both in the semifinal. As it stands, it would be Mexico winning the group, Panama in second. Panama right to left in the red, Mexico left to right in the gray underway in half number 2. A first half that saw both teams, I think, very calm compared to what we've seen the last couple of days. Not a whole lot going on in the attack, not a lot of 50-50 challenges or tackles put in. Sort of the expectation in a way, considering the situation. Again, if the roles were reversed and this were the last game of the day, and we already knew the result of United States-Canada, maybe there would have been a preference from these teams as to who they deemed the lesser of the teams coming through in Group B, and there would have been more of a fight for first place. But from what we've seen so far, without knowing who would be coming through Group B, these two teams have seemingly just accepted that they're both in the semifinal, and whatever comes next, comes next. Rolled back out, deflected out for a corner. Off the corner, we'll do it again. This time it'll be a kick in, though, not a corner, just down on the sideline. Worked through on the deflection, but wide. That was not what Mexico intended, but it almost worked out. Open net there. Cano left the goal, and that's the price you pay. Oh, we talked about it in the first half. That Cano presents such a numerical advantage for Mexico when she ventures forward in the possession, but you leave yourself vulnerable. Finally, Panama capitalizes on the strike. Gloria Sáenz. Cano seemed like she had enough time to get back there. Just did not retreat quickly enough. Read the play wrong. 1-1 between Panama and Mexico. Important to note now in the 1-1 scoreline that a tie would favor Mexico. They'd still win the group. Panama must win to win the group. Mexico's goal differential +8, Panama's +5. In Group B, we already know Costa Rica is through. They will win the group if the United States and Canada tie, or if Canada beats the U.S. Sáenz again goes wide. Costa Rica will come in second if the United States beat Canada. Nice give and go. Played ahead by Hernandez, one back by Panama. Long from Sáenz. One back by Mexico. They can go quickly here. Itzel Cruz touches it wide. Cruz plays it in front. Nice deflection from a falling down Karina Santamaria. She doesn't get a touch to this. It's a tap in for Mexico. Rosa Aguiar was waiting for it. From the corner, out to Cano. Still being aggressive even after the goal they just conceded. It's in their nature, Mexico, from what we've seen these last couple of days, just the way they play. On the turn, fed ahead, loose in front, corner. Drop back, finds Cruz. Cruz cross court. Wants it back and gets it back. Ball does stay in. Cano plays it in, header off target. Put back into play by Perez for Panama. On the turn, chance here for Panama. Rangel. Foul called against Mexico. Down the left wing, fed in front, deflected, almost an own goal off of Aguiar. Perez put it in a dangerous area for Panama. On the turn, fed off by Gonzalez. Back out to midfield for Mexico. Popping out in space, it's Cruz. Paulina Cruz centering it. Couldn't get a shot off Aguiar, works it back, now saved. Out to midfield. Mexico once again setting up in the possession. They've enjoyed that really the whole day. Panama's goal coming on that mistake by Cano being caught out of her net. Now a free kick for Mexico. Looks like Evelyn Gonzalez is eyeing up a shot on goal here. Gonzalez does strike it through. Didn't take a touch off the wall. It did out for a corner. Cross court, intercepted. Out for a Mexico kick in. We'll try the left side. Gomez goes for a goal. Just off the crossbar. Contact there. Hernandez went down, but it's Mexico possession. Worked back out to midcourt. On the right side. Soto. Nice move through. Into space. Gomez looking left. The shot saved by Sanhart. From distance and the save made. Again, it's kind of all making the stop for Mexico. Up in the air, brought down for Gomez. Gomez plays it along, gets it back. Ruby Gomez stepping up. Gomez puts a charge into it off the post. Oh, and it was off the header from Dorantes. Trying to get it on frame on the shot by Gomez. And hit the post, and ricochets out. He threw and off target for Mexico, under 12 to play. Given away. Chance for Panama. Saved by Cano. Estefania Salas had the effort. Try from midfield. Goes wide. deflected at midfield. Mexico stays in control. Almost halfway through this second half. Nice give and go. Gomez couldn't get it quite back to Benitez. Now Panama the other way. Escartin drops it back. Montenegro plays it off. Perez back for Montenegro. Montenegro saved by Cano. It's interesting, still just the intensity of this game and the flow of this game and the decisions from these coaches. Almost a bit disappointing in a way, to be honest, but understandable given the circumstances. Mexico looking for another. Ramos out of play. It's 10 minutes left. It's a 1-1 game. The top spot in the group is on the line, and they're mostly cycling through their benches. It's a lot of possession-based play, not much intensity, not many challenges being put in from these sides. You could tell there's a level of calmness, but again, it's 100% warranted and understood, considering they're both already in the semifinal, and because we don't know until later on who will be first, who will be second in Group B. It's not like they're playing to face a certain opponent anyway. They don't know how it's going to shake out until later, and there's 3 possible permutations as to how it all ends up later. You could have Costa Rica in first or second. You could have Costa Rica getting through with the U.S., or you could have Costa Rica getting through with Canada. It's all just an unknown. We saw, unfortunately, Cascante pick up what looked like a gnarly injury for Costa Rica with 12 seconds left in their match earlier. For a team that knows it's through to the semifinal in Costa Rica, that was a cautionary tale for both of these sides. Wanted to make sure they get out of this healthy, knowing they'll be playing on Saturday and they have a full day off tomorrow. Maybe they pick it up in the final 10 minutes, though. Competitive juices do just kick in at some point, no doubt. .9:48 to go. Back to it after the timeout. Mexico right out of that timeout, going for goal. Saved by Sanher. Corner coming. From the corner, back that way, wrong side of the post. Mexico continue to dominate possession-wise and the control and the flow of the game. Hernandez slipped through, backfield along. I mentioned it early in the first half. I made the remark, and I want to follow up on it, that this game could go by in the blink of an eye. This has undoubtedly been the quickest game that we've had just from a timing standpoint, I think, in this tournament. Ball has really been in play for so much of this game. That's all I mean to say in noting that. Both Panama and Mexico really got into a rhythm and a flow and keeping them all in play, moving. Deflected, out of play. Drop back to Cruz at the end line. Unable to keep it in was Hernandez. Seven and a half to go. Down the left side for Mexico. Cross court, Cruz. Cruz lays it off. If this stays tied, Mexico wins the group, remember. Along for Castañeda. Lobbed over the top. Out of the reach of Castañeda. With under 7 to play. Still to come tonight. It is Canada and the United States. That's the next matchup on this court. Kicking off in the 7 o'clock Eastern Time hour. And then the night ends as it has the last couple of nights with the hosts Guatemala taking on Cuba. Be a fitting end to group play. Just a matter of the crowd being into it, giving them maybe a chance to cheer a result for Guatemala. Both Cuba and Guatemala already eliminated. So this next game coming up between the U.S. and Canada, the last one with any sort of implications on the tournament at large. Panama and Mexico will no doubt be locked into that next one. Probably a pretty good chance that they go right from the court to the locker room to change and then back up to the seats to watch United States and Canada. Both possible opponents for both of these teams in the semifinal. They threw for Mexico. Sanher laser line. It was helped out by our defenders, blocking it out. From the corner, deflected, out for another. Panama working through. Hernandez, free kick. Positioned by Kenya Rangel. From this angle, you'd expect her to pass it off in some combination play. Montenegro positioned for it. Instead, they go to the end line. And out for a corner. Ends. Gets it in. Deflected. Just over 5 to play. Chance here off the bar. Outside of the boot on the effort from Sáenz. Almost came off. Hernandez end line. Try to look at the back post. Panama clears through Sáenz. Cross court. Kept in play, but for a moment. Stands, Mexico wins the group. Panama in second. Played through off the post. Only way Panama wins the group is with a victory here. And again, we don't really know if it means anything yet. And I don't think there is a situation where it does. Played through here. Itel Cruz. What I mean by that is it doesn't really matter because we don't know who's coming through Group B yet aside from Costa Rica as this shot saved. We don't know who the second team is. We don't know the order. And what we've learned from the last couple of days is that group has been so dead even. Costa Rica beat Canada by 1. Costa Rica tied the United States. And now Canada plays the United States. Everything has been tight among those 3 teams. I don't know that there is a preference for Mexico and Panama. Maybe stylistically, perhaps they'd want to face Team A versus Team B, whatever the case may be. But there's no way of knowing. That match comes up next. Both these teams can still face any one of the U.S., Canada, or Costa Rica. But without the knowledge of who it would be, it doesn't really matter all too much who comes in first, who comes in second here in Group A. The fact of the matter is they're both going through the semifinal, and they will both have a chance on Saturday with a win to get through to the first ever World Cup. FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup, and there's a chance for Mexico and put in. Dorantes cleans up the rebound. Mexico has an opportunity now if they hold on the next 3 minutes to go a perfect 3-0-0 in group play. And then if they back that up with a win on Saturday in the semifinal, they'll qualify for the first ever FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup later this year. Dorantes has been in and around the play all day. Finally gets her break. 3 minutes remaining. We've seen so many tight games among the top teams in this tournament. As I mentioned, the United States and Costa Rica tied yesterday. Costa Rica beat Canada by 1 in a tight game. Now these teams squaring off to a tight game. It's become clear over the last couple of days that there are those 5 teams, I think, these 2, plus Canada, the United States, and Costa Rica, and then everybody else. There's a little bit of a gap after those top 5. Problem, though, is that in a semifinal situation, there's only 4. So 4 spots for 5 teams. Who will be the left outside, either Canada or the U.S.? We'll find out coming up next. Both these teams know they're through. Out wide, out for Panamanian possession. Contact there. Panama wants a free kick, didn't get it. Under 2 minutes to play. Played through, save made. I Cano. Here's Panama with just over a minute left. Going for goal, Cano taps it away. It's interesting that Panama hasn't pulled the goalkeeper to get the extra attacker out there. As I've alluded to throughout the day, this isn't a scenario where either team is really pressing for a victory or a draw. It is kind of what it is. They're both in the semifinal, and they both would like to get out of here healthy first and foremost, but still have a minute of valuable practice time, knowing that if you concede, there's no punishment. There's no downside to it. So you would have expected Panama to maybe at least pull the goalkeeper, get a minute's worth of practice, and if you concede with the net empty, so be it. You lose 3-1 instead of 2-1. Interesting from the Panamanian coaching staff, but again, first and foremost, I think they'd rather get out of here healthy, and if they're in second in the group, so be it. They're in second in the group. They know they're in the semifinal, and without knowing the situation yet in Group B until the next match between the U.S. and Canada, sort of is what it is. Indifference toward the end result in the end. And with that, Mexico is probably just going to dribble this out here with 10 seconds to go. Panama will let them have it. Down to 5 seconds. Slip through. Time will expire. Mexico wins this one 2-1 over Panama. They are perfect in group play at 3-0-0. They win Group A, but both Panama and Mexico knew coming into the day, as they know now, that after tomorrow's off day, they'll be playing in the semifinal on Saturday. I'll look back at the full-time highlights from this matchup between Mexico and Panama to crown a champion in Group A. Who would come in first? Who would come in second? That was the only question. Both teams knew they were through to the semifinal. And for the most part, it was really sort of calm between these two sides. I think both knew the situation. Both knew they were both going through. The focus on making sure that there were no red cards, there were no suspensions, there were no injuries, and these teams just made sure they got to Saturday in one piece. A lot of that came with some player rotation. A lot of the bench players who didn't see much time the first two games got the lion's share of minutes today. Itzel Cruz was one of the regulars for Mexico who did play a bulk of the minutes and got a goal to open things up. She scored in all three games for Mexico in the group stage. And that would be it for the first half. The 1-0 scoreline in favor of Mexico at the break. They had the possession, they had the chances. Panama didn't show much in that first half, but come the second half, Panama would score a goal on a Mexican mistake. Left her net, Natalia Cano, for the possession as she had been doing regularly to give Mexico a numerical advantage. Did not get back quickly enough. And Sáenz spotted her out, and Gloria Sáenz made her pay. Slotted it into the open net. At that point, 1-1. It stayed 1-1 for a while until there were about 3 minutes remaining in the match. Free kick fizzed wide from Evelyn Gonzalez. Here, Ruby Gomez with an effort that hit off the post. Gomez again helping create here. The header glances off the post and out. It was Dorantes who got her head in the way there and almost redirected it in. But ultimately, the reward would come for Dorantes in form of the match-winning goal. Sáenz here with a good effort. Saved by Cano. Gomez looking over the top. Off the post. Another good effort there for Mexico. And then Dorantes pops in the loose change on the rebound. Initial shot from Cruz. Save made. Rebound put in by Dorantes. So she had the post she hit earlier. This one she makes no mistake about on the rebound. It made it 2-1 Mexico. And that is how it would finish here. Mexico ends up winning Group A. Panama in second, both teams into the semifinal on Saturday. One more look at the standings here in Group A. Not done yet. Guatemala and Cuba will play tonight to round out group play. Guatemala hoping for a win in front of their home crowd. Cuba also hoping to salvage something, but Mexico wins Group A on 9 points. Panama comes in second in the group on 6 points. And now we know what we already did know, which is that half of the bracket can be filled out going into the knockout stage. We have our Group A winner. We have our Group A runner-up. It is Mexico on the right side as the Group A winner. They will meet the Group B runner-up. It's Panama as the Group A runner-up, meeting the Group B winner. We also know that Costa Rica will be on this graphic in a little while. We just don't know where to put them yet. That depends on how things finish between Canada and the United States, which kicks off in a little bit over an hour and a half right here in Guatemala. Stick with us for more action in the 2025 Concacaf W Futsal Championship.